A couple of things I wanted to share with you, but first of all, how are you? Have you gone or are you going stir crazy? I hope not. I hope you're keeping your cool. We're trying to do that over here. I mean, we are mostly. The homeschooling of the children is that is a brand new challenge that I'm sure many of you are also experiencing. Every day I keep telling myself I'm gonna do a video, and then I keep postponing it because I'm like, oh, which one should I do and what backlog am I gonna dig into and blah 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 blah, and then days are just going by and it's ridiculous. So I keep thinking I'd like to do something a little more informal. I mean, heck, informal and regular. Everybody you see on TV now is on a webcam or on their laptop from home. It's interesting, right, to see all the television personalities that we're so used to seeing in more professionally, like in studio environments, and now they're just coming at us from their living room. Kind of interesting. Where was I going with that? Tomorrow, I am doing a live stream class with Chris Potter. I'll put the link below. It's being hosted by the Snarky Puppy crew, Ground Up Music, and we're going to be talking about playing standards, practicing standards, playing standards, just geeking out on that for an hour or so. And as you know, Chris is pretty darn good at that, so that should be interesting. If you have any questions that you would like me to ask him, I know this is sort of last minute, but throw them in the comments below. I will take a look tomorrow morning, a few hours before we get into it. I have my own list of questions and I have an outline for what I think we'll be going through. And my guess is that that hour that we have together will go fairly quick. That's the way they tend to go. Nonetheless, it'll be a cool opportunity to just hang out with Chris Potter and talk about practicing standards. Speaking of practicing standards, or just practicing in general, I've been playing this SBA again. It seems somehow tied to my doing vlogs and whatnot, and I don't know what it is about this horn. It's not my horn. It is my horn. Let me clarify. It is very much one of my saxophones, right? It's just not my main one. It's not my Mark VI. My Mark VI has been in the case since I returned from my last tour. I was like, what is going on? But it's that. And I don't know what my ongoing fascination or sort of fantasy with this is, other than I know that technically this horn is in better shape than my Mark VI is. My Mark VI could use an overhaul, among other things. So partially I was like flirting with that. And also I know for a fact, like if you've seen any of these transcription videos I put up on my Instagram and Facebook where I've been relearning the Sonny Stitt and Sonny Rollins solos from the Eternal Triangle. One of the things that I notice when I'm playing this SBA is that these keys down here are higher. Like I could fit my whole finger in there. They're higher up off the saxophone than on my Mark VI. Those keys are more like down here somewhere, and so there's some oddities about it. Now, but I've just been thinking, well, what if I just play it every day and I get comfortable with it? And that's been happening with it. And there are things about this that are so nice. They're just so clean, the way everything comes out from low to high. And this but is especially for the lower part of the horn. It's just not my sound. It's kind of a conical thing. It's harder for me to describe in words, but there's something about the sound that's just very focused, and that might be exactly the thing that somebody else is looking for, but I'm looking for a little more spread, a little more width, girth, woofiness. But I'm just torn, man. I enjoy playing this thing. Maybe I just enjoy the challenge or whatever. I'm not sure, but I love the horn, and I haven't yet brought myself to switch back over to the one that I know is best for me. It'll probably happen this week or within a week. But I'm still just enjoying playing this horn. And like I said, my Mark VI has issues. You may have seen that video back earlier this year that Jay Metcalf put up where that's my 25-minute timer. I was supposed to be doing something else with this 25 minutes, but I forgot what that was. Anyway, my Mark VI, has some issues. Has a bunch of issues, actually, and it's due for an overhaul. But for what it's worth, this busted pad here, I think I did 3 different recordings with the pad busted like this, including that Snarky Puppy live at Royal Albert Hall, which is out now. Got a few solos on there you can check out. All of them had this pad. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say that as I've been practicing like just tunes and stuff, and I've been playing this horn, and I've been enjoying that, it made me realize how much I over-articulate. And it's funny because I talk about this so much with my students. We talk about it in the studio. Somebody just asked, Mike just asked, left a comment in the forum about, because I have these things, I call it my 3 S's: slow, straight, and slurred. And he was talking about vibrato. I'm on all kinds of tangents here, I know. What can I say? I'm out of shape. Slow, straight, and slurred. Those are my like 3 S's. The slow is pretty self-explanatory. You know the tempo I tend to favor. The straight, for me, refers more to the rhythm than the tone. Although, yes, I do prefer more of a straight tone over heavy vibrato. And that's a whole separate topic. But so slow, straight, and slurred. The slurred, because now I remember where I was going with this. The slurred part, because I think we as a population, saxophonists, tend to over-articulate. You know, one of my teachers in college, George Garzone, he used to say, probably still does, that if he had his way when a new student came to him, the first thing he would do is cut their tongue out.
If I had my way for the first lesson, I would cut your tongue out, and then we would continue. I've been listening to this since 1975, and I developed, it wasn't negative, it was just an overuse of articulation. So I am teaching the students, even to date, how to play without any articulation, using even eighth notes. Can I show you that? Okay.
I remember when I first started studying with George, I was heavily coming out of this. I had been transcribing a lot of Sonny Stitt and Sonny Rollins and the Eternal Triangle stuff in particular. So that's where I was. Maybe that's what's happened. In revisiting those solos, which has been super enjoyable and a total butt kicker, I've felt like a heavy articulation creeping back in, which is not where I want to be articulation-wise. But if I'm just playing a standard by myself with no accompaniment, not even a metronome, let's just say, I don't know, I'll play Just Friends. That was what I meant to play. You ever do that? You play something and then it's like, no, I actually meant to do that other thing. That's what I'm doing almost all the time when you hear me grunt in these videos. So I'm articulating like crazy, way too much tongue in there. And so I keep reminding myself to slur, because as Garzone says, do I have some food on my face? No. When you play legato, you will find out whether or not you have the time in your fingers or not. Now, if I try to do the same thing legato at that tempo, like that medium tempo, it's really difficult. I'm not suggesting for myself or anybody that you eliminate all articulation. It's just that it can become a crutch. I mean, it's a tool, it's a method of expression for sure, but it can become, if overused, it becomes a bit of a crutch. And you get that very like that. So I'm trying to avoid that, but watch what happens if I try to do the same thing legato, very legato. It feels so awkward, to me anyway. So I mean, it's kind of an exercise. Like again, that's not my hope is to play completely legato and whatnot. But I've noticed that how tempo plays into it. Like the faster I'm playing, the easier it is to keep it more legato. The slower I'm going, the harder it is to keep all that articulation out of it. I'm gonna stop there because I've probably been talking for 20 minutes. But again, I thought I would just, it's just like an informal, I just wanted to say hi. I do still have vlogs and old footage I want to put together and stories I'd like to tell with that and whatnot, but stay tuned. Also, yeah, like I said, tomorrow, the Chris Potter thing should be pretty cool. It's like you can do a small donation to get in, and there's a replay. I know that the time is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but there will be a replay available, and there's a chat window and things of that nature. So we're going to be discussing standards, playing standards, practicing standards from with the master himself. And that's all I got for now.